How we doing, guys? Welcome to DT's Daily. Now on today's show we're going to take a look back at last night's Premier League game, a big one as well, and it certainly did not disappoint. Last piece of news involves Arsenal because reports are saying that Jurgen Klopp is looking at Shkodran Mustafi as a stopgap until the end of the season.
I represent my fucking self.
How we doing, guys? Welcome to DT's Daily. That's right.
So the first place we're going to start is last night's Premier League game, Tottenham against Liverpool. A big game. European places, possible title runs. Liverpool have been on horrendous form and not scored in an absolute age. But they certainly scored in this one. And they won this game 3-1. And it was quite comfortable, to be honest, especially in the second half. So many talking points in this game. Now, where do we start? First minute, Mane should have scored for Liverpool. Missed chance massively. Spurs went straight up the other end and Son scores. And you're thinking, here we go. Spurs are going to steamroller Liverpool and the poor run continues. But the goal was ruled out by VAR, rightly so. I know some people are questioning it. It's contentious. It's offside. I remember Lacazette a few years ago got one ruled out against Stoke City before VAR was even introduced. It's offside. And then the game kind of just ebbs and flows and Liverpool looked the better, I would say. And then Harry Kane picked up an injury. And immediately you knew it was serious. Even though he continued up until half time, you could just tell something was not right. And this is a man that has got a known history of bad injuries. And he always seems to pick them up around these parts of the season. And it normally keeps him out for 2-3 months or so. We obviously don't know the extent of the injury. It could just be, precautionary. It looked like he rolled his ankle. But there could well be ligament damage in there. We don't know, as I was saying. But getting towards half-time, Spurs are thinking, right, let's get in, regroup, assess the situation, see what's happening. They were already playing, without a left-back or wing-back, whatever you want to call it, from Mourinho's system. And then literally right on half-time, Firmino scores for Liverpool and he always seems to score against Spurs, but it was the defending of Eric Dyer and the goalkeeping of Hugo Lloris. Both of them were both kind of to me, to you, yeah, and Firmino went, alright, I'll have it, cheers boys, 1-0. Kane obviously doesn't come out for the second half and instantly Trent Alexander-Arnold puts them 2-0 up. And again, this is a mistake by Hugo Lloris. Poor save. And pushed it straight into the path of Alexander-Arnold. 2-0. And you're thinking, that's it. Game over. And then Højbjerg, within a minute, scores and, halves the deficit. And it's one of those. He strikes the ball and he cuts across it and it goes away from Alisson. And a good goal. And you're thinking, okay, Spurs are in the game. And then Mo Salah scores. And then VAR rules it out for a handball way before that. And I think it was Firmino and it was Eric Dyer behind him. And he's ruled it out for a handball. And this is where I say VAR, the technology and everything is not the problem. Because it spotted it. It's seen the incident very clearly. It's now down to the referee and, his interpretation. And Eric Dyer, first and foremost, is all over Firmino. The ball then hits his hand first, which then ricochets onto Firmino's hand. Clearly accidental. Clearly not trying to gain an advantage from it. This is where a referee should be able to use common sense, look at it and go, okay, not on purpose. He's not controlled the ball or trying to knock it out of the way. It's just simply accidental. It's a good goal. Off we go. But he rules it out. And I just don't know where we stand with this handball rule. what is handball anymore? It seems like there's kind of a rule in place, but it's still down to the referee's interpretation. Well, if the referee interpreted that as being a handball, then he should be educated more, because it wasn't a handball. It's as simple as that. But then shortly after that, ball delivered in the box. I don't know what Spurs defender it was, but he's kind of let it go across his body and got himself all caught up. And Mane just snips in behind him. Bang, 3-1. Game done and dusted and over. And when you look at the Premier League table, Liverpool will be so happy that they've got that victory and they've stopped that awful run that they've been on. They climb into the top 4 above West Ham. They are 4 points behind Manchester City now, but Man City do have a game in hand. So it's very, very tight. Spurs stay in 6th, West Ham in 5th. But Spurs are on 33 points. Only 3 points ahead of Arsenal. That don't seem right, does it? The all-conquering, greatest team on the planet, champions of November, are only 3 points ahead of Arsenal, who are having their worst season in Premier League history. Somebody please make it make sense. 3 points. They've got a game in hand still, but that's against Aston Villa, so that's no foregone conclusion. They've also got Man City coming up as well. Strange season, isn't it? Very, very strange. But what a good game. Really good game. I enjoyed that one. And yeah, Liverpool will be happy. And Jose Mourinho will be fuming. Unlucky. Last piece of news. And going to Arsenal and also Liverpool. But the pundits before the game against Spurs were speaking about Liverpool's, situation. And there was Rio Ferdinand, there was Peter Crouch and Jermaine Genius. And they were saying, what do Liverpool do in terms of, this defensive problem that they've got? Do they look for a stopgap until the end of the season? Now, there was talk about Sokratis. Of course, Jurgen Klopp will know him from their time at Dortmund. And it could well have happened. It could have been a possibility that he goes in and, is a stopgap. Because at the moment, Liverpool are trying to fill in with midfielders. And that's taking away a part of their game. And, if you could bring somebody in for the next 4 months or so that can actually defend or is a defender, then it would allow those midfield players to go and be midfielders. But the name that's being mentioned is Shkodran Mustafi. Of course, we don't know whether this would happen. Would Arsenal even allow him to go to Liverpool? I actually don't think we would. It's not like the, Sokratis situation where we've actually cancelled his contract at the moment. I think that Arsenal would say, look, if you want him, give us some money. If not, bye-bye. Don't need to do Liverpool any favours. But yeah, they were speaking about it. And it was Rio Ferdinand. He said, I'm not saying you're going to go and get your A-class main centre-back right now, but there must be some sort of stopgap somewhere to fill the void. Because you were saying now, we will play with a central midfield partnership that are now going to be our centre-back partnership, or I'm going to play with 2 very inexperienced players. And he's obviously referencing the fact that they got the choice between the 2 midfielders or a couple of youngsters. And as you saw with one of Manchester United's goals in the FA Cup, they're still raw and they're still learning. And it's tough to throw them into the Premier League. And he says, how about Arsenal's Mustafi, who is out of the first team picture in North London with only 9 appearances in all competition this season. Jermaine Genius highlighted Mustafi as an option. And he says, let's just say the stopgap was Sokratis who came in, or Mustafi, a centre-half out there who's going to get the job done. Are Liverpool fans going to be happy about it? Not too sure about that one. Is Jurgen Klopp looking at that and saying, I've got an actual centre-half and this is better than Fabinho or Matip or Henderson or Fabinho? Is it better that stopgap? Is that all they've really got? But yeah, I think it's just, look, it's more of a discussion and more of what could happen. I don't think I could see that one happening. Not Mustafi going to Liverpool. I don't think Arsenal would allow it anyway. It's an interesting one, what they're going to do. I think that they do need to strengthen because it's going to be a long run in and Champions League starting as well. And they're losing out their midfield presence by having to play these guys in, centre-back. So it's an interesting one, but we will wait and see what happens, of course. So there we go. That is it for today's DT's Daily. There is plenty of videos coming out. Later today, I'm going to be doing a combined 11 for the Manchester United game. And I'm not going to be biased. I'm going to be as honest as I can. There's also going to be a preview to the Manchester United game because that one is huge. And I can't wait. So stick out for those ones and keep an eye. If you're new around here, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you smash a like on this video. And I will see you a lot soon. I'm out of here.